So one tool that's essential for you to be able to use well as a programmer is called the command line. In Windows, you're going to be able to enter commands in the command line using a program called PowerShell, which you can open up by entering the Windows key and typing in PowerShell, and it should come up. You go ahead and hit enter. And so the PowerShell is a program that allows you to enter commands that directly get executed by your computer. And on some level, this is an archaic way of using a computer. Back in the day, this was the only way to use a computer before there were any graphical interfaces and a mouse to click around and navigate. But we need to use this as programmers because it gives us access to commands that we normally can't access through anything like the control panel or Finder. There's just going to be commands that I can only access through the command line. So in order to use the command line well, you first have to just get used to navigating between files and folders, much like you would do in Finder. So I'm going to show you guys that, but I'm going to do it side by side with an Explorer window, just for you to see what that's like. So if you go ahead and drag this off to the side and open up Explorer, and you'll note that the PowerShell is telling me that I'm in this particular directory. So I'll go ahead and get there first. C, users, Peter Jang. So now I'm in the same directory in my PowerShell compared to my Explorer. And so what I want to be able to do in PowerShell is to navigate exactly like I did. Like let's say I wanted to get into my documents folder. But in PowerShell, I don't even know what folders are available. So I need to learn the command, which is called ls, which stands for list. And here, typing in ls gives me a textual representation of what I normally see in Explorer. So if I wanted to go into the Documents folder, if I was just doing this in File Explorer, I would just double-click the Documents folder, and here I am. In PowerShell, I have to enter the command cd, which stands for Change Directory, and then the name of the folder. So I'll say cd into my Documents folder. And you can see the location of the directory that I'm at has changed. But again, I don't see the actual files or folder inside of this directory until I type in the ls command. And so you can see it basically takes two commands to do what takes one sort of action in Explorer. In Explorer, I just double click and then I see something. In PowerShell, because it has no graphical interface, I have to type in cd to switch into the directory and then ls to see what's actually in there. Let's go ahead and do that one more time. Let's go into the code directory. So I'll say cd into code and hit enter, ls to see what's in there. So hopefully you get the idea. I can cd into weekend work and ls to see what's in there. And that would be taking me equivalent to code weekend work, and you can see these files. So navigating into a directory isn't too hard. It's cd, ls, it's just that combo of commands. If I wanted to navigate back a directory, in Finder I just have to hit the back button. In my PowerShell, I actually have to cd into a special folder name called .. which is just a special name for the directory right above. So if I cd .. you can see I'm one directory higher, cd .. one directory higher, cd .. and I'm back to where I started. And that's the equivalent of me just backing up into my original directory. Now I'm going to just show you one thing that you can do in your PowerShell that you can't normally do in your Explorer window, and that is I can type in ls to see all of the files and folders. That pretty much is the same as what you see over here, but if I type in the command ls with an extra argument -force, it shows me a lot more. And what it's actually showing me is the same files and folders, but it's also showing me any hidden files and folders that I wouldn't normally be able to see. Now these files are hidden because for a quote-unquote normal user, these are things that you wouldn't want somebody to actually accidentally delete or modify their configurations for different types of programs. But as a programmer, you're going to have to be able to access these types of files or create these types of files in order to configure your individual programs. So those are the basics of using your command prompt. The two commands that we went over is just ls and cd to navigate around your terminal. And in the next screencast, we'll cover how to actually execute different types of commands using your command prompt.